Welcome to Marketing Made Simple TV. I'm Jeff Ogden, the host of the show, and we're thrilled to have you back for a wonderful show. And we've got another great guest today, and we're going to talk about something we haven't talked a lot about, is digital marketing and especially search engine marketing. Where our guest today is Jerry Allocca, whatever. He's a secret weapon, Allocca, marketing director. I'm sorry, what did you say, Jerry?
Allocca.
Allocca, okay. Jerry Allocca. He's a secret weapon of marketing directors from New York. We'll address it in just a moment. Hang on there. From New York to LA. He makes them look like natives to their bosses. He eats, sleeps, breathes digital marketing. He's the author of Connected Culture, a digital marketing playbook. He's the founder of Core Interactive Marketing with an award-winning team of internet specialists. He's a frequent industry speaker, and he's really a pretty cool guy. So let's welcome Jerry to the show.
Thanks, Jeff. Glad to be here.
Good to have you here. Now tell me, what is the proper pronunciation?
It's Jerry Allocca, and you're not alone. As a matter of fact, Google even recognizes the misspelling of my name. Nobody can spell it. Nobody can say it. So lucky me.
Love those Italian names. But anyway, good. Yeah. So, Jerry, we're going to start you off with a question we ask every guest on the show. It's a tradition on the show, and it's a very, very simple question. And it is, who are you and what do you do?
Who am I? Jerry Allocca. I founded Core Interactive Marketing about 15 years ago in '98. And what we do is we make marketers look like digital gurus to their boss.
That's simple enough, Jerry, and I appreciate that. So, tell me, going back to '98, certainly the world of search marketing has changed a lot since then. How did you get started in this area?
You know, I'm your typical techie geek. I was always the guy that if you needed a website, call Jerry. If you need more eyeballs on your website, call Jerry. I didn't found the business found me. And before I knew it, I had a business. A couple of years later, we had an office, first employee, payroll, insurance, and stuff. And we were rolling.
Sounds good. So, and you actually enjoy this. Well, let's talk about the world of search, because Lord knows, I worked for a search marketing company back in about 2009, and it was real simple: build a bunch of inbound links and optimize their pages, and boom, you're at the top of Google, and everyone was happy. But then along came these animals like penguins and pandas. What the hell is going on, Jerry?
Attack of the black and white animals. So I'll do my best to explain it in very simple terms. It's mostly the panda and the penguin that are the culprits. But first, before we get into those specifics, I'll kind of back up a step and talk about why. Why does Google change their algorithms? Why does Google mess with things that the main reason is to stop the cheaters. That's really the main reason. People find a way to game the system, and they exploit it, and then Google finds out, and then they change their algorithms to make sure that doesn't happen again. Make an example of JCPenney. A couple of years ago, they got busted in a big way. What they were doing is called link spam and paid links. And if you look at the algorithms now, that's really what Penguin's all about, is penalizing sites for getting these garbage links, for paying for links, for basically trying to cheat. So what's the difference? This penguin, or the panda came first. And in very simple terms, panda is all about content issues. Penguin is all about link issues. And that's the simplest way I can explain it. Panda, content, this has to do with two main things: thin content and duplicate content. Thin being, just picture a website, it's got, one or two sentences of copy, and it's got like 100 links. That is what Panda looks for, and that's obviously not valuable content. It's, topics are all over the place. It's obviously a link farm, or you're obviously trying to, create some kind of link scheme to game the system. So that's Panda. The other issue with Panda is duplicate content. And some people have duplicate content, they don't even realize it. But they have duplication of content. And again, this is really for the cheaters, people who have, they got good rankings on one page, and then they start duplicating the page all over the place, and they start scraping it from other websites, stealing their content and duplicating it on their site. Just nonsense like that is, so that's what Panda was all about. Penguin, and Penguin is now in its fourth version. They now call it Penguin 2.0, which is actually version 4. It's weird. But it's basically gone through a number of changes or evolution of this algorithm that looks for these links, looks for paid links, looks for link spam. Like I mentioned, like a link farm, just picture hundreds of links with anchor text, with linking out to different pages, different topics. The key issue here is Panda, Penguin. They're all geared to get rid of people who are not creating value. And this stuff is solely for the purpose of gaming the system and getting rankings, not for creating value to Google's customers. And Google's customers are looking for information, they're looking for answers, and they get to a link farm, and what value does that have?
I think that's a good point, that Google is getting more sophisticated and it's getting harder to game the system. So let's talk about search marketing in businesses. Does it still matter to business? It's a lot different than it used to be. And the other thing, obviously, which has affected it is now you've got the exploding world of social. Yeah. You got Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Reddit, on Quora. Just the list is endless. And Brian Solis does his conversation prism, and it's just mind-boggling. What do businesses do in this crazy world?
It's certainly out of control, and in the 1 minute, in the 1 minute that just passed, there was 10 new social networking sites that just popped up. That'll learn and figure out, and but really, it's just talking about search engine marketing or SEO. This is really, it can't be done in a vacuum. You can't just do email marketing. You can't just do SEO. You can't just do social media anymore. Now it really requires an integrated approach. And the big shift now is from link building to link earning, from SEO and SEM to content marketing. And that really requires a mix of search engines and social media working together in harmony. So.
Yeah. Hang on a second. Can't hear you, Basil.
I can't hear the audio.
Yeah, I think we're having a little startup problems because you're supposed to be answering the questions alone on the screen. But the Basil's a little rusty at this.
Okay. Go again or do a retake if you want. No problem.
Yeah, and this is why we don't do them live.
And that was what I said 3 times.
Hang on a second, let Basil get. What?
Okay, Jeff, we're going to go from your last question. You ready?
From which one?
What was the last one you just asked?
Okay. The penguin and panda stuff?
No, we did that. We got that. That's all recorded in HD.
Okay.
The last question was, help me what you just answered.
I remember. It was all about, does this really matter to business? Because and you've got the exploding world of social and all that. Okay, so.
Okay, so we're going to go from there. You're going to ask the question, and I'll bring Jerry back.
I can just re-ask the question from there.
Sure. Yep. Ready? We're going in at 5, 4, 3, to.
So, Jerry, tell us, now that you've told us about Panda and Penguin and how the Google algorithm has gotten more sophisticated and really stopped the cheaters, you've also got the world of exploding social. You've got Facebook, you've got LinkedIn, you've got Twitter, you've got StumbleUpon, you've got Reddit, the list, Quora, the list is on and on and on. And Brian Solis, who is a guest on here, does a conversation prism talking about the changing world. What does a business do in this crazy environment? What
Well, first thing you need to do is plan. Do your research, do your planning. You really need an integrated strategy nowadays. You can't do SEO in a vacuum. You can't do SEM in a vacuum. You can't do social media in a vacuum. You can't just do one thing anymore. You need to find a way to make all of these things work together. And especially SEO nowadays, that's really the only way. You need social media to promote the content. You need social media to build the relationships of people who are going to link to you. So, you know, nowadays it's all about the integration of all these technologies, getting them to play nice in the sandbox.
Interesting, and I think one of the things you're talking about is earning links. So let's explore that idea about how does a business go about earning links in this crazy world of so many options, so where do you even start?
Well, it's actually just the social media. And you know the old saying, the more things change, the more they stay the same. And that's true of SEO. I mean, Google has been changing algorithms for over 10 years. This is an ongoing process. They have geniuses over there who are, you know, these scientists, these engineers who are always looking for, you know, loopholes and gaps in their algorithms and fixing them and things like that. Um, so you asked the question about earning links, and that's really the big shift nowadays. Not link building, link earning, and you need to earn it, and this is how you do it. You need to be involved in social media. You have to be, you know, I recommend being a blogger is probably the best way, because you want to approach other bloggers and you want to approach other sites. You can do this with sites like Technorati, which is a blog search engine, even a Google site search, you know, things like that, where you can see what other relevant blogs and who are the authorities in your industry as far as you know, social media is concerned. Once you identify these people, and here's the trick. So I'm going to explain it, but here's the thing. You can't just go asking for links. It just doesn't work that way. They have to know who you are. They have to know, you know, what you're all about. You have to have some kind of reputation. This is not going to happen in the beginning. It's not going to happen anytime fast. This is not a fast solution to getting leads. This is a long-term process. So visit somebody's blog. Let's say you target it, and this is on your list. You want to get a link from this site because the link is high authority. It's got a good reputation. It's active in social media, and a link, you know, it's got a high page authority, a high domain authority. So a link from this site to yours could mean a lot for you. So you don't want to just go and ask, hey, can I have a link? Because you know what the answer to that's going to be. So what you want to do is start engaging in the blog. Look around, look at different blog posts, comment on them, and I'm not talking about blog post that adds nothing to the conversation. Say something that is meaningful. Say something that adds to the conversation. Something that's going to get somebody to look at it, read it, and go, that was interesting. Let me see a little bit more about this guy. And they may check out your profile, they may check out your Twitter, and they may check this out and that out. Eventually find your blog, read some of your stuff. That's really the way to get onto somebody's radar. However, there's a big warning here, because this is where a lot of people trip up. And they say, oh, yeah, okay, so all I need to do is like and comment and, do all this. Okay, I can do that. Don't overdo it. You don't want to look like a stalker. You don't want to look like, somebody who's a little bit obsessed. What you want is just to add to the conversation and get on their radar so they know who you are. And eventually, when the time comes, and you add enough value and create enough value for them, that's when you can ask for a favor. But only when the process starts with value creation.
Glad you brought up blogging, because blogging certainly is something that I've been doing for many years, and I know Basil's on here has created a lot of blogs, and it's a great way to share information. But I also find that guest blogging is really good. There's very popular blogs out there, and if you can write, if you're a really good writer, they'll publish you, and I think that works really well. What is your thought on guest blogging?
Guest blogging, it's one of my 10 tips today. But I'll talk about it now. Guest blogging, and again, it is the perfect example. What I was just explaining, the way to get on somebody's radar, the way to hook somebody up in social media and add to the conversation. That's what you need to do with guest blogging. You don't just look for sites to guest blog post on, and then just blast everybody in with some kind of silly form letter that says, why you should accept my blog post. Any blog post or any blog that's, valuable is going to be very selective about the content, about the authors. They're going to want to know you. And if you don't have a reputation yet, or you're just building a reputation, again, if you just come off as somebody who's just got their hand out looking, hey, what's in it for me, and thinking nothing value, then it's not going to work. But if you take that approach and you actually engage, and this is actually a blog that you're interested in and contributing to, then it makes perfect sense for him to highlight one of his subscribers.
That's interesting, Jerry, because Brian Clark is a guy that I have a lot of respect for. He's a copy blogger, and he's a real expert on content marketing. And he recommends that you write monthly blog contributions. And I write for the Marketo blog. The first Monday of every month, I submit a blog post every month, and they're hugely popular. And I'm just one guy, but it's just amazing how much traction you get from that. So, yeah. So, about guest blogging and links, how do they help you?
So, what you want, there's two types of links that you can get. One is just a link with any old word. Could be www.whatever.com, something like that. That's fine. It's a link. It's not as valuable as anchor text. And what is anchor text? It's basically a search term that is the link. And if that link, that search term, that's the link, links to a page that's all about that topic, all about that search term, that's gold. That's link gold. So basically what you're doing, you're instructing Google to say this, through this link, by linking from this search term, you're saying, hey, Google, this resource over there, that's a good resource. An in-depth resource for this topic right here, for this search term.
That's interesting that you bring this up because, there's a concept that I learned from an expert about cornerstone pages. So if you do keyword research and you find out that 3 or 4, real key terms that are not highly competitive, but they're getting a lot of traffic that fit what you do, then you can write pages on your blog about that topic. And then what you do is you actually, which has more information, talks specifically about, in my case, sales lead generation, for instance. And what you do is the anchor text point to that page. So when they click on that term, they go to the anchor page, or the cornerstone page, I should say. So do you feel that's a good strategy?
That's great. Exactly what you should be doing. The goal here is just to teach Google. That's what we're trying to do. We're not trying to cheat Google. We're not trying to get rankings without creating value. We're trying to teach Google based on two things, two big factors. This is Google ranks web pages. It's what you say about yourself and what others say about you. And what you say about yourself is obviously the content that you own, that you write, that's on your site, on your blog. And then what others say about you are the links coming into those blogs, coming into those pages. So with the combination of the two, you can teach Google that I say, this is, I'm a great resource for this, but more importantly, other people say it as well, and they back up my story.
Have to talk about, Jerry, is, you mentioned Google a lot, and obviously Google is still a big player out there, but today you've got Facebook graph search. You have people doing searches in all different types of things, and it's just Google is no longer the only game in town. What is your thought about this? You've got Bing, you've got Google, you've got obviously Yahoo still, you've got you've got vertical search engines like Quora and LinkedIn and Facebook Graph Search. What's the story here? Where do you need to optimize anymore?
Well, like everything, and this is just the culture that we live in. There's an explosion of options now. You no longer have to go through Google to get anywhere on the web. You can now bypass Google, go direct to different places, or from other places get to other places. So it doesn't have the control that it used to. However, if you look at people searching on Google, 34,000 searches a second, almost a billion a month. People are using it. They're definitely using it. They're definitely searching for it. And the thing that I like about search is that nobody lies to Google. People tell the God's honest truth to Google. This is what I want. If you want to sell me, give me this. That they're telling you what they want, telling you what they're looking for. If you're the answer to that query, you could get a lot of leads, a lot of opportunities, a lot of sales, or at the very least, more eyeballs on your website landing.
Good. So let's talk about the world of marketing managers. Right? They're struggling with this digital marketing stuff. And you're passionate about this. You help the marketing managers. What is the biggest problem they face in this crazy new world we live in today?
Today, marketing directors suddenly have like 50% more work than they used to. You've got emails and you've got likes and tweets and comments and plus ones and and it changes on a daily basis. It's no wonder why these people are so completely overwhelmed. And you think about the world they used to live in: print advertising, TV, radio advertising, and in no saying these things are simple. There's certainly skill and strategy to advertising on these mediums. But when you compare the traditional ways to the new digital media ways, the one key difference is time. And the old campaigns, once the campaign's created, it runs, and you wait to test and measure results. But here, it's constant, 24/7 time that you have to put into it. So it's a lot more time. It's a lot more to learn. Things change all the time. You have to keep learning what's the next biggest thing. This is a serious job.
Yeah, interesting. It certainly is a challenge. Now, you have a nice offer for our viewers. Why don't you talk about what that offer is and just explain what's in that when they download it, what they will get.
Sure. So this is a new ebook that I came out with. This was to answer the question, why aren't we on page 1 of Google? I get prospective clients asking me that all the time, and I kept coming up with the same answers, so I figured, why not just create something and then send them the ebook? So this is an ebook that tells all about the panda and the penguin in plain English. It talks about the shift from link building to link earning. It really helps you kind of put your head around this whole thing. And the one thing that it has is really, we're up to 26, 26 ways to create what I call link magnets. So when you're embarking on a link building or a link earning campaign, you use these link magnets. So rather than trying to force the issue, you create so much value that people will link to it almost naturally.
Good, Jerry. Very interesting discussions. Just tell us for our viewers, where can they learn more about you, your company, what you do? Where do they find you?
Put it into Google. Google will tell you everything you ever wanted to know about me. I think I have more than 10,000 listings in Google, different social media sites, press releases, news articles, blogs. I mean, you name it, it's out there. So definitely Google my name. You can also go to connectedculturebook.com and learn about me there as well.
I want to thank Jerry Allocca. I'm sorry, Jerry Allocca for being a great guest on the show, educating us on the crazy world of search today, talking about content marketing, link earning, social media. We've got a great offer of an ebook, so if you just go right here, you're going to be able to download it immediately while you're watching the show. Marketing Made Simple TV premieres every Thursday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. It's also syndicated at many, many sites, including Fearless Competitor, Marketing Made Simple TV, Social Media Club, CMO.com, Social Media Today, and many other sites. So we bring you great guests every Thursday at noon Eastern. So until next week, we'll see you next time on Marketing Made Simple TV.